Hey, Faster Caster here. Got a few tricks for you and tips that usually work for me when I'm on the water or sitting on the side, on the bank, what have you, trying to catch some fish on a really slow day. All right, so basically that's the time on a slow day, mid-afternoon when fish stop biting or whatnot, 1 o'clock. You got all this bait, all this plastic that you went and bought on sale, on clearance, in the wintertime, and you really didn't have a use for it. So you can always rig up something. You can always make it work. So take all those baits that you don't mind chopping up and making something else out of them and make them work for you. So your first bait I have here, well, we're going to go small, medium, and large. Okay. So first bait I got for you is a Sexy Shad from the KVD line. So it has all this extra stuff on it. These little fins, like it's made for trolling or whatnot. So I don't like that. And basically what I see here is a crayfish, crawdad in the making. So what I'm going to do, first thing is, I'm going to cut that fin off. Let's a little closer so you can see that. Alright, so there's a fin. So I am going to put this so you can see it. And I'm going to come down like so. Alright. And I'm going to take that off. Or as I say, cut it back a little bit. So, go this way. And don't you worry about the ugliness of it or the presentation, because presentation is the more it wiggles, the livelier it looks, and the fish are more likely to stay tuned and pay attention to it. So you just take all the excess off however you see fit. Alright, if you want to leave that on, leave it ragged. So that's what we end up with, okay? Now, once again, don't worry about the looks, because in the store, the prettier the bait, they're basically designed to catch the fisherman first. That's what I learned. Alright, so what I have here is a split tail. It's going to move in a current. And second important thing is to pick out your weight and your rig. So you can go Carolina rig, Texas rig, modified with these. So this is a very light bait. So you're looking at maybe sunfish, a few bass. They should bite those, an easy meal. And crappie, the ever elusive crappie where I'm at. Where I live at, Colorado River, the crappie, they hold up in one part of the river, and it's way down north, and way up north, and I really don't want to go that far. So I'm stuck with what I'm stuck with. I got bass, smallmouth, largemouth, striper. That's good enough for me. So anyways, so when you take that, you chop that down. And we're going to leave that like so, because I'm going to go through all three of them. And here we have a prism shad, or prism colored worm. And it's kind of like, you want to call it a glass minnow. It's see-through, it's white, clear white, which is beautiful. A little purplish tinge to it. And it's got a little bit of blue in there. So when it hits that sunlight, they're going to be able to see that. And that's going to dart back and forth. Now, if I remember correctly, this is a floating bait. So weight is very important to this bait. And the size I'm using here is a 3/8. Okay, 3/8 tungsten weight. And what we're going to do is rig that on the front like so, and just let it slide freely. Just throw that thing, and when the current takes it, this is going to, you know, kind of flop up, do its thing there, and the weight's going to just slide out of the way, out of sight, out of mind, and the bass is going to be like easy meal. Okay. Same with this. Alright, so same with my prism worm, prism shad. So you want to use that 3/8. Very lightweight, like I said. 4 to 8 pounds. You can do braid if you want. Probably don't want to do fluorocarbon. You can if you want. I'm not a big fan of it, so I stick to what I use. And also we have the robo worm. Now the beautiful thing about these worms, they're pretty heavy, okay? Heavy in a sense, heavier than these, because they have a lot of head on them. So heavy here, and heavy here, and the tail is kind of flattened out for that movement, natural movement. So what I usually do, I'll hook this bad boy up. We'll start from the top this time, and one or two ways I'll hook this up. So one, round hook. I love this hookup by itself. It's kind of like a naked hookup a little bit. Let's get that out the way real quick. So by itself, you throw it, you get the right rod, you get the right reel and the right line. You can throw that thing all day without a backlash, and it'll do whatever you want to do. Bounce that off the rocks, drag it if you want, let it sit. And speaking of let it sit, this has been very productive for me. So when it falls, it hits stands like that, and the bait sort of just runs with it. You can buy these in the floating type or the regular type. So the floating type will work very well. Desert Crawl. Again, these are made by RoboWorm. So, and what they're gonna do is just sit there and wiggle and wiggle and move, and look like a live bait. Caught so many off the rocks with this, it ain't even funny. And I'm talking about boulders. Where I live at, there's big old boulders like Grand Canyon type in the water, so lots of cover for those bass. Lots of hiding places. I love it. Fun, fun, fun. So we went with that hook, big round hook, and we went for the stand-up hook. Okay, so now we're going to take it a little further. And also we went with the weight for the smaller ones, which is awesome. All right. So hook selection is going to be very important too. So the smaller baits, you can also use one of these straight hooks if you want. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people don't like it. They say you lose more fish than you catch, but you know, I disagree. If you're attentive, you got it moving, you can feel those little nips, you got the right rod, you can feel everything, then hey, you know when to snatch it. So that's my setup. Or you can even go a little further with it. Get that out the way there. So on your little longer baits, bigger baits, you can go with the pre-rig. I already got the bullet weight on it, which I like. Gets that thing going down head first. These, you can do this only when you're experimenting. If it works for you, it works. If not, then do like I said the first two times, the first two choices. Do it naked, by itself, just hook and line, or you can do it as stand-up. Doesn't matter. All right. Questions, comments, please just leave them in the comment section. I look forward to them as always, and I'll try to answer each one. So have a good one.